Welcome back, Tangerines, to our channel. We are currently in Puerto Morelos, windy Puerto Morelos, and today we are sharing what not to do when coming to the Riviera Maya. So these are locations like Playa del Carmen, here, Puerto Morelos, Tulum, this whole region. First of all, you should not leave your hair down because it's way too windy. This is absurd. We get asked questions like this all the time. What should I do? Where should I go? What should I not do? What should I bring? We're going to be answering all these questions and more in today's video. Our ultimate goal with this video is to help you have a better time in this area, save money, avoid being scammed, and be better prepared if you ever plan to travel to this area. So the first thing is you are arriving into the Cancun the Cancun airport, and you do not want to get scammed. This is the first place that we got scammed when we came to this region. What do you not want to do when you get there?
You do not want to take a taxi. So how do you get to where you're going? You are either going to want to arrange transport with your hotel beforehand, or go to the ADO ticket booth and get a bus ticket to the city that you're going to. ADO has really nice buses. They're reasonably affordable and you're not going to have to negotiate or anything. They're set prices. It's a super easy and comfortable way to get where you're going.
Next, on the topic of cabs, it is okay to take cabs once you're at your destination. We just don't recommend taking it from the airport. And do not forget to look up the price sheets. So the taxi syndicates have prices that they are supposed to follow from point A to point B, certain destinations, certain lengths of the trip and whatnot. So make sure to look those up so that you don't end up becoming prey to someone who thinks you're a tourist, doesn't know the prices, and overcharges you. And as of making this video, Uber is not available, but if it ever becomes available, just use that so you don't have to worry about it. The next thing you don't want to do is forget to get cell coverage. You can either go with your current cell provider, which is probably going to be the more expensive option unless you have a company like T-Mobile where it's included, or you can get cell service when you get here from a company like Telcel, where for 15 days, including a SIM card, it's only going to be $9.
But if you use your current provider like T-Mobile or Verizon or whatever it is, make sure you go into your settings and turn on data roaming. Otherwise your phone isn't going to work when you get here, and that's a common mistake people have. They're like, I thought I had service and it's not working. But yeah, just click that data roaming thing on. When you come here, don't forget that all prices are going to be in Mexican pesos unless it specifically lists US dollars. And how can you get the best conversion when you're paying in pesos? Well, we recommend paying with a 0 foreign transaction fee credit card wherever possible, and also asking for it in pesos, because when you go to a restaurant you can often pay in dollars or pesos even if you pay with a card, and if you choose dollars you're going to get a very bad exchange rate, so choose pesos.
The worst exchange rate, like say the dollar is 19 to the peso, $1 is 19 pesos, they'll be offering you 17 pesos per your dollar, so it's just absolutely terrible.
And that might not sound like a lot, 2 pesos, no big deal, but really you're losing 10 or 15%, and if your vacation's going to be 10 or 15% more expensive, that's a lot of money over the course of a week.
So here we are now at Chichen Itzá. Just kidding, still in Puerto Morelos.
The next thing you do not want to forget is to wear lots of sunscreen, because the sun is really, really hot here.
And strong.
Tons of people are walking around looking like lobsters.
Including myself. I have become victim to this strong, strong sun many times. Seriously, wear sunscreen. Do not forget to wear sunscreen. Apply it often. Apply it liberally.
And bring sunscreen with you, because if you're staying at a resort here, the resorts are known to jack up the prices a lot on those kind of things, and you might be paying $30 for just your average bottle of sunscreen.
Yeah, just some typical bottle of copper tone or something. The next thing you will want to do is, please, we urge you, do not wear those average typical sunscreens, because we're right by this big beautiful ocean, and here in Puerto Morelos we are right by a reef filled with marine life and everything. Typical sunscreens have harmful chemicals in them that are going to damage the fish and those creatures, the sea creatures and the reef. So please look for reef safe sunscreen. We'll link a few down below in the description, but also in this area you'll generally be able to find it pretty easily. Just try to get away from the resorts so it's not exorbitantly expensive. Speaking of bright sun, holy crap, I can't even keep my eyes open. Guide me.
Our next tip is to not use standalone ATMs. Why? Because they're known to frequently have things that clone your card and steal your card information.
So tampered with.
Yeah, they've been tampered with. So what you should do is use the ATM inside the airport, inside a grocery store, connected to a bank.
So using these ATMs that are connected to a bank or within a grocery store, things like that, will prevent you from being scammed or having your money taken. A common thing is that someone will put something sticky in the part where the cash comes out, and then not all of your pesos end up with you. They come back and get it later. So the ones connected are way less likely to be tampered with, and those are the ones that you should use. So the next thing we highly recommend you not do is come here looking for stuff, aka various types of drugs. Why? Besides the obvious reasons, well, if you are buying these things, you are much more likely to become a target of scams or just getting yourself in trouble. One thing that we have heard so often is that someone will, for instance, sell a person weed, and then they're working with a cop who's right around the corner to know exactly who you are and bust you, and most likely try to get a bribe out of you so that you don't go to jail or you don't get in trouble. So best thing that you can do is just not buy that at all. Get your margaritas, have a good time that way, enjoy the beaches, enjoy the beautiful nature. Don't go looking for those kind of things.
If you're coming to the Riviera Maya, don't be afraid to go out on some adventures. Go visit some awesome cenotes or the Tulum ruins or the ruins at Coba. These have been some of our favorite experiences in all of Mexico, and there's not really a better way to cool off than going to a cenote.
The next two things on our list are linked. One of them is do not drink the tap water. It is generally regarded as not safe, so what you should do instead is buy purified water. And something that we've been focusing on a lot more since we've been living in this region is using less plastic, and one way to do that is by buying larger jugs of water, larger portions of water, so we're not using those single-use plastic bottles that are just gonna sit in landfills forever.
And that saves money too.
It does. So if you can do that, buy as large of a portion of water as you can and refill smaller bottles to keep plastic out of our oceans. Something else that we've been trying to do is to not use straws, not use single-use plastic things.
And that single-use plastic was actually outlawed recently in the state of Quintana Roo, which is where the Riviera Maya is.
So if you can make a little bit of an extra effort to reduce your plastic consumption, that will have a huge impact on this region and keep plastic out of the ocean.
And keep it looking beautiful as it does.
The next thing you should not do is come to Mexico without learning at least a little bit of basic Spanish. You don't have to be fluent, just learn some of the basics. We can tell you from experience, when we first started traveling in Mexico, when we were still learning, just about every interaction was way more scary and intimidating because we just couldn't communicate with people. So as time has gone on, the more we've learned, the more fearless we've become to try new things and have conversations with people. So learning the basics, we think, if it's anything like our experience, is going to allow you to have a much more carefree and breezy time while you're here.
Yeah, whether you're coming to Mexico to visit or to live, I think the absolute best thing you can do is to learn the language. It will change your life.
That's why we always recommend Rocket Languages. We think it's the best bang for your buck. You're getting these 3 power-packed courses of easily digestible Spanish. So if you want to learn Spanish, you can just head over to tangerinespanish.com, and that will take you right over to this course that we recommend. They're actually running a sale right now, and
we're doing something we're super excited about. We've never done anything like this before.
If you go to tangerinespanish.com and buy all 3 courses there, we have teamed up with Spanish and Go to offer you an additional 30-day travel Spanish course, $250 worth for free. So all you do is go there and buy the 3 courses, email us a copy of your sales receipt at gongthatbell@gmail.com and then we'll hook you up with that extra course. So we obviously think Rocket Spanish is an incredibly great way to learn all on its own, but we by no means mean to imply that you should ever just learn Spanish with one thing. You should try to use as many things as you can to become fluent. Alright, so now let's talk about prices and saving money, not getting ripped off. First thing is, when you walk up to someone, maybe you're looking for a souvenir, you want to buy something cool, Well, you can ask them in the Spanish that you've probably just learned because you learned a couple cool phrases. ¿Qué precio tiene? What price does it have? Or how much is it? And they're going to tell you it's blah 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 pesos. Buen precio, muy buen precio. And that is how you generally know that it is not a very good price. It is the price that they think you as a gringo will think is a good price, or they're just trying to emphasize that, make you think that it is. So what you're going to want to do is go, okay, and then walk away, and then you will very quickly see what the real buen precio is, because they'll offer you a lower price. Generally you can get it down much lower than the first price they offer you, so what should you not do except the first price? So the next thing you're gonna not want to do is forget to check the prices on the menu, both when you order and when you receive the bill. Something we've experienced a lot in this area is that, say you order something that's 100 pesos on the menu, you get the bill, it might say 120 pesos. So if you're the forgetful type like me, or you can't really remember those numbers, just take a picture of the menu and then compare it to the bill once you get it. And then the next thing you want to check is whether they added a tip on there. Tip in Spanish is either servicio or propina. Maybe they'll abbreviate it to prop or serve. So just know that that's what it is, so that you're not double tipping, because often they know what the tipping culture is like in the US or other places, and so they add it on there hoping that you won't know the Spanish, and then you end up double tipping. So do not forget to pay close attention to the prices on the menu and what your bill says at the end.
That's happened to us a lot, especially in Playa del Carmen. Here in Puerto Morelos, we haven't really experienced that much at all. So it really...
And Tulum was terrible with that.
But yeah, it depends on where you are, but pay attention to it. And in fact, we made a video talking a lot about this that we'll link above. The next tip we have for you is don't be stupid when buying jewelry.
Oh, wow. Shots fired.
So, there's lots of people who sell jewelry here. A lot of it is just various handmade stuff, but there are some vendors who are claiming that it's real silver, real gold, real precious stones. Unless you're an expert, don't trust that it's going to be real gold, real silver, real precious stones, and just assume that that part of it has no value and you're just buying it for the looks.
The next thing on our list is don't forget to consider the time of year that you are coming to this region. And we're not here to tell you that the summer is better or the cooler season, the high season is better. Just consider what time of year it is. So in the summer, when it is hot as balls and humid AF, the prices are probably going to be cheaper. There's going to be fewer people around. So if you want the ruins all to yourself, you want a private cenote essentially, because not as many people will be here, then by all means come in the summer. Just know you're gonna sweat and it might be pretty miserable. But if you want to come at the nicer weather time of year, then come when you're gonna be paying a little bit more. That's okay too. Just make sure to look at what time of year it is and know what you're getting yourself into.
Our next tip for you might be an obvious one, but it's worth mentioning, and that's don't be flashy with your stuff.
Jewelry, fancy clothes, nice looking purses or wallets or sunglasses or anything like that. It's just best to come here in a more modest way.
And next is related to that. It's pay attention to your surroundings and stay aware when you're traveling anywhere. You want to keep an eye out for any potential people who might be out to get you or with the wrong intentions.
Yeah, I think this has served us well in our travels too. Just kind of like, I mean, this helps you see other stuff too that you might not have noticed if you were just kind of like tunnel vision, full force ahead kind of thing. If you're just looking around you and noticing if someone's been by you for a little bit too long, then you can kind of go off to the side and let that person pass, or at least find out if that's kind of what was going on, things like that. But the more aware you are of your surroundings, the less likely it is that someone's going to even target you in that way, because they want an easy target. They want some spacey tourist who's just in La La Land. So if you have your wits about you, you probably won't have to worry about it.
So we have some friends who were visiting Puerto Vallarta. I know that's not in the Riviera Maya, it's actually the other side of the country, but this could still apply here. They booked a tour through their hotel, so all the hotel employees knew that they were going to be out for the whole day, and for some reason one of them had to come back early, and they came back to find a hotel employee laying on his back looking underneath the drawers of the dresser for cash tape there. Of course, he made up some excuse as to why he was in there for maintenance, yeah. But they didn't think too much of it, although they probably should have, and later they realized that $800 cash was missing from their suitcase. So keep in mind things like that could happen.
And so I guess the lesson is just don't forget that some people have bad intentions. I wouldn't say that the average Mexican does. I think Mexicans are honest, helpful, hospitable, and incredible people as a whole, but there are some people who look for any type of situations like this where they can get money out of you. So like, be aware, don't let your guard down just because you're on vacation, try to let loose and things like that. Just keep these things in mind, so hopefully that doesn't happen to you. Coming into Mexico, you're going to go through immigration at the airport, and when you do, you're going to get a little slip of paper, and that paper, you need to hold on to that. That's actually your permission to be in the country. And if you lose that, or it gets stolen, or you misplace it, or whatever, when you leave, you're gonna have to pay about $30 US to get it replaced, and also stand in a line to get a new one. So make sure you hold on to that, and you have it until you're leaving the country, because your airline is gonna ask for it. So the next thing is, do not forget bug repellent. If you're coming to this area, if you're like me, a mosquito and bugs that bite find me within a like 100-mile radius, you must bring bug repellent or you will be eaten alive if you're anything like me. I recommend Off Deep Woods. That's what I use. I know it has DEET. I know it's particularly not good for you, but it's the only thing that works for me. Jordan can get away with the like essential oil natural blend, but that's the most potent stuff I've found. And if you get bit, don't forget to bring it. Put it in your check bag though, because usually it's an aerosol can, which you can't bring on a plane. In your carry-on on a plane.
But this is a rainforest, so there's lots of bugs here.
Jordan, what is the second to last thing that we're going to share?
That is to not be afraid to get out of your resort, get out of the tourist part of town, and get in to the parts of town where the locals live.
And we're not by any means saying that it's not okay to go to a resort or an all-inclusive or something like that. If you want that experience where you're just basically waited on hand and foot and everything's included, you don't have to think, you don't have to speak in Spanish, that's fine. Go ahead and have that experience. But if you're looking to have a very authentic, a very different a different experience, then like don't be too intimidated to go out and go into a place that has all plastic tables and chairs and maybe their menu is up on the wall and it's more casual. You're gonna find low prices, absolutely delicious food, and for us it's opened up our minds to new people, new ways of thinking, new ways of living and eating, and a different lifestyle, and that's been incredible. Totally cannot change that, or like you can't put a price on that. This is not gonna work. Oh, it's gonna be sunflower boob lady, but no. All right, the last one, the one we've been building up towards, I would say this is the most important one on this list. Do not exclude the rest of Mexico when you are considering the Riviera Maya or the Yucatan Peninsula as a whole, because most people, when they think of Mexico, they think of either like tumbleweeds and desert and cowboys or the beach, and there's so much more in between that. The inlands of Mexico, central Mexico, like Guanajuato or Mexico City or Oaxaca City, Puebla or Chiapas, they are so beautiful, not to be missed. So if you're open to expanding your horizons and looking at other places, getting bit by mosquitoes in other places of the world, other places in Mexico, don't rule them out, because I think there's just so much that Mexico has to offer beyond the beaches. Before you guys go, don't forget we have this special going. If you go to tangerinespanish.com and purchase all 3 courses, we will also give you a 30-day course from Spanish and Go. That is never before seen offer, as one might say. Not sure if we'll ever do this again either. If you want to learn more about this area, be sure to check out the end screen, where we are going to link a playlist of all the videos that we've made in this region. And be sure to subscribe to our channel if you want to see upcoming videos that we make, Mexico vlogs. We're going to Oaxaca next. Oh yes, for Dia de Muertos. Who's excited? I'm excited! And one more thing, please. Like that. Gong! that bell if you want to be notified the next time we put out a new video.
And we'll see you soon.